Happy holidays, beautiful viewers. Your host here, Antoine, and with me, sleeping, is your little co host, Cowboy. Welcome to episode 3 of season 9 of, and I just love saying this, the longest running local queer talk show in history. And I'm told the most loved. Thank you for that, guys. We have spent a lot of good times together and with some fantastically talented and creative guests from our LGBTQ2S plus community. Speaking of good times, I am a big sucker for the holiday season. Everything about it, the feelings, the families, the friends, the storefront windows, the Christmas and holiday songs, and the movies. Give me a sappy Christmas romance movie any day, anytime. So I thought, why not invite Emmy Award nominee and twice Directors Guild of America nominee Ron Oliver to be our guest for the holiday season episode, especially after scoring number one movie of on Netflix with his Falling for Christmas film, which he wrote the screenplay for and starred Lindsay Lohan in what I've been calling her comeback vehicle. Uh, I've known Ron more as a horror director in the past. He directed the horror cult classic Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2, and I'm a huge horror fan. So I had our editors invite him years ago to write an article for our magazine, Pink Play Mags, on a horror topic, but I've never met him except on social media. So I'm excited to have him on the show. Let's bring him on, shall we? Sir Ronald Oliver, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here. How are you?
Nice to have you. I'm very good. I'm very good. Excited about the season. I swear for the longest time, I thought you were being funny on social media when you call yourself Sir Ronald. But apparently you've been knighted by the sovereign nation of Sealand, which has a fascinating story of its own. I've been reading all morning while I'm preparing for this about them. How did that come about?
We were making a movie in, I think the Plaza. We were making Christmas at the Plaza in New York. And the star of the picture, Ryan Pavey, and I were sitting at the bar one night and we thought, we need to be knights. So we decided that we would find out how we could become knighted, because people get knighted all the time. So we investigated, and the deal with Sealand is that you have to do a good deed for the country and then they will knight you. So we both had to do a good deed for the country, and then we knighted. Yeah.
Sweet. I actually saw, I think the first thing when I searched for the country, the first thing that popped up was how to get knighted. And I guess they have like a process or whatever to do that. Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Well, before we take a commercial break, and then we'll come back to talk about a lot of things, let's see how true this bit of trivia I found about you. Is it true that your mom insists that she went into labor with you at a drive-in screening of Psycho during the contraction started during the shower scene? Is that a real story?
That is actually, whether or not it's true, I don't know, but that's the story she told me for a long time. So yeah, and the timing of it works out about right. So I think they were, probably at a reissue of the picture, but yeah, that seems to be her story, and she stuck to it. So there you go.
What a fun trivia. Actually, funny, I actually just watched the movie a few weeks ago, and my God, it still holds.
Oh yes,
it's incredible what a good movie is. Good. Okay, everyone, we're gonna take a short break and we're gonna come back with Sir Oliver again. All right. And if you want me to, I'd run away with you. We'd fall in love. You'd be my boo. All I need, pants, shirt, and shoes. Leave everything.
I love my lips, my beautiful lips. I love my eyes, my beautiful eyes. I respect nature. I love all living things. Beauty is kind. I am beautiful. Love the earth, love your life, live life healthy.
And we are back with Ron Oliver, coming to us from Greece, actually, where he's shooting a new picture, but he's usually in Hollywood, where he's located. Let's talk about work and movies, and might as well start with your new big hit I mentioned at the start. I watched it the other day, the day that it came out. I loved it.
Oh,
I'm very happy for you.
thank you.
I mean it. I really loved it.
Oh,
But
thank you.
how horrible was Lindsay Lohan? I'm kidding.
I met her once, only one time, because I just wrote the screenplay. I didn't direct the picture, and
Okay, so you didn't interact with her a lot.
no, not at all.
Okay.
But just in passing. But I had just finished a movie in Utah with the same production company that was going in to make this one,
Uh,
and there was discussions about me directing the picture. They were going to shoot the movie up on top of a ski resort in Utah during the winter, and Daddy doesn't do snow, not real snow. I prefer the artificial world of Christmas.
Okay.
So bless them. They had a great time. I'm sure it looked like it was a difficult shoot, but my cinematographer.
There was a lot of
Sorry.
scenes, with snow and stuff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding about Lindsay. I'm a huge fan, and I've always been rooting for her to do more work. I think she's a great talent.
She's doing a picture. She just finished a picture right now that I also wrote called Irish Wish.
Oh, brilliant.
Wrote with
Okay, so
somebody.
she is making more movies now.
Oh, yeah.
So-
No, Netflix has a deal, or had a deal with her for a couple of movies.
Fantastic. Good to
And I
hear.
think the success of Falling for Christmas being
Will add to that.
the number one Netflix movie around
The world. No, not Canada, not the US, around
No,
the world.
the world. It's insane, and it's been happening. It's got, like, I've been keeping track of it. Like, since it opened, the last 3 days in a row, it's been number one around the entire world.
Nice.
Which
Yeah.
I talked to our executive just about an hour ago, and we're still going, what the hell?
Must
Like,
be a
it's
very
just-
happy feeling.
It
I'm sure I'm gonna watch. There's a lot that I missed in it. I'm sure I'm gonna watch it again. So I'll give you another click in your ratings.
Excellent.
Well, why don't you introduce the film to us for those who may have not seen it? Give us a synopsis of the film, just a short one.
Well, it's essentially, the premise is that a spoiled heiress bonks her head in a ski accident and loses her memory, and ends up shacking up with the local town hottie, not knowing who she was or who he is. And romance blooms. Meanwhile, her family's trying to find her, and her family are flakes. So it's a sort of old-fashioned kind of rom-com. Like,
It is.
very much a throwback to the sort of like 1940s screwball comedies and that kind of thing. So
That's the sense that I
very
got
much in
from
that
it.
world. Yeah.
I did see on social media posts, I think you said something that you said that the role was written for Lindsay.
Yeah, the original premise, because the original sort of story was written by a guy named Jeff Bonnet, wonderful, talented guy, and they had developed it for a little while, and it wasn't really going anywhere. So the production company came to me and said, we need to, find a way to make this work. So I started Christmasing it up a little bit, and we got talking, and it was like, Netflix and Lindsay are trying to do a sort of a deal. What if this becomes that? And that's sort of in the way these things work. It's always very strange. It's like this phone call and that phone call, and somebody says something to somebody else, and then suddenly it was going to be a Lindsay Lohan picture, and that kind of impacted, because I'd already written a draft of the movie by then, and then when Lindsay was signed on, it suddenly became something else, because it became about redemption and about coming through something and coming out the other side a better person, and so it became much about it. Having her in the movie made the movie something more than it probably would have been with just some other actors.
Yeah, I got the sense of her story in there. Actually, I'm trying to remember again 3 days ago, and I've watched a lot of movies since then. There was a reference to Jingle Bell Rock in there, which she sang in Mean Girls, right?
Right. They brought that in. Yeah, that's sort of part of that. And again, it's part of the whole Lohan-essence. They keep calling it over Netflix.
Yeah. So. See, when you posted that on Facebook, I was trying to watch while I was watching it. Where's the hints that are being dropped to connect it to Lindsay? Was this your first work with Netflix? I can't remember.
That's a good question. I think it might be. I can't really honestly can't remember. There have been, the last 5 years has been so hectic, and so one project after another, and then during the pandemic, it seemed we all thought, well, everything's going to stop, but all that really happened was we stopped going to film sets, we stopped shooting. But I was writing nonstop the entire pandemic, because people kept saying, we're going to need movies. So when we started going back, I was back on set I was actually shooting in Vancouver, and we were on the last day of a mystery movie, Picture Perfect Mystery. We're on the last day of that shoot when they started shutting us down. So I got on the last plane out of Vancouver to go back home to Palm Springs, and got there. And that was like, is that February or March, whatever that time was, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was back on, it was in March, and I was back on set again by July to
Oh,
shoot
really?
a
Oh,
movie.
wow.
So it was that fast, because the thing about the film business is that our big mission, like, we solve problems. That's what we do for a living. So when this
I
whole
love
thing
that.
happened, there was like, how do we get back to work? How do we get people back on a set? How does this work? So the masks and the testing and all that stuff. And this is pre-vaccine. And so we're back there getting tested and getting masks and all this, during the entire process. So
Yeah.
we were back at it pretty quickly, all things
I
considered.
actually, I like what you said, and I see that in the movie industry. You're quick to act on your feet to solve things when something
Yes,
happens. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, things don't just freeze. Your Hallmark Hall of Fame Christmas films are amongst the highest rated in the network history. And I believe you have a couple of other movies coming out, or maybe came out already. One with the cutie from Aladdin, Mina Masood. Did you direct that one?
I did. Yes. It's called Hotel for the Holidays. It's for
Oh,
Amazon.
it's
Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah. Amazon has a new service called Freevee. And this is their first holiday movie. It's got Mina Masood and Madeline Pesh from Riverdale.
Yeah.
And man, that's I'm really proud of that movie. It's a very modern Christmas film. It's like yeah, kind of like Love Actually. There's a lot of different stories taking place at the hotel. It's all people who come together for Christmas at this hotel, and all these different tales, and there's romance and so on. And there's the straight couple and the gay couple and this couple and that couple, and it's all very mixed up. So it's a very modern film, and I'm quite proud of it. Amazon's really thrilled with it, and they're promoting the hell out of it.
I hope
it
they release it on something other, because I don't have Amazon, but I'll try to catch it somewhere. I've been hoping to see Mina and other things. I remember reading an interview where he said after Aladdin that it's a shame that it seems that work kind of dropped down when you do such a big role and you don't get anything. And he was wondering if it's because of his background being Arabic and what have you. But it's nice.
Yeah,
because
we talked about that actually when he and I had lunch when we all first got to the location, and yeah, he spoke about that. I think I don't know, because in our business you never know. You can have a huge hit, and then the next day the phone stops ringing. It's very weird. It may be part of it. One can never tell. You just don't know. But I'm proud of him in the movie. He's terrific in the movie. He's very charming.
He's charming.
He's
very charming.
Yeah. And he's very funny. He's got a great comic sense. I was really impressed. He's like Peter Sellers funny. Yeah.
So you've got Netflix, you've got Amazon, and you've got Hallmark. The third movie is Hallmark, right? Yeah.
Yes.
What's that one?
Yeah, there was a Christmas movie called Jolly Good Christmas.
Okay.
And shot in London. I just wrote that one. I was gonna direct it as well, but then with COVID had a sort of like resurgence of COVID right when we were going to shoot that thing. So it was the process of me going to London and having to go through all this again. And it was going to star Ryan Pavey, because it was going to be the third one of our movies. Okay. And so it was, but the whole process of getting over there, it was just getting ridiculous. So they ultimately went with a director and a star who were already in London. So they were already in play. So it made it much easier when it was all said and done. And I was happy. I think the picture came out pretty well. And I love the script. I really enjoyed it. But the script was like a homage to It Happened One Night, which is a great sort of screwball comedy from the 30s and late 30s. And it was very much an homage to that, because it's, two people on the run through London at Christmas and
cool.
trying to find something, and they fall in love. So
look at you dominating the season.
It's been interesting. It's I've lost track. People ask me how many Christmas movies I've made. I've kind of lost track. It all started with Dennis the Menace Christmas. We shot in Montreal, Canada.
Really? That's where your Christmas movie started? Okay.
Yeah, cool. 2006 we shot it there, and then I did Chasing Christmas for ABC Family, and then it's like every year they come around, they go, well, here's one, and I've written I think I've written 4 or 5 Christmas pictures, but I've directed probably 10 or 12. I don't know. Probably more than that, actually. Now that I think about it, a lot of them.
Well, let's go back to horror. Your work on the iconic Nickelodeon series, Are You Afraid of the Dark, has been heralded as one of the top 10 most frightening TV shows ever made. Any plans of going back to horror? Please say yes.
I would love to. I love horror, and
Yeah, I know you do.
yeah, it's a passion, and
Yeah.
but it's tricky because the horror genre is something these days. The budgets for horror films, they do them for very, very low budget. And I'm not entirely sure how well I would go going back to that kind of world. But having said that, you know, I mean, James Wan has made some brilliant pictures for like, you know, $3-4 million. You know, The Conjuring, that whole, you know, like
I love his work. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's brilliant, and they do them for a price. If the right thing came along, I'm actually
the right thing came along. Okay, so that's
here's a scoop for you. I'm actually developing right now with a producer an R.L. Stine book, another one, because I did One Night in Doomhouse from Stine's books a few years ago. So we have a new R.L. Stine project that's currently in my computer as we speak. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any plans for any distinctively queer LGBTQ movies, stories, anything?
Well, Hotel for the Holidays has a gay couple in it that meet cute and fall in love and so on.
I know you add them naturally to your stories.
Yeah, I do. I think it's better than going. Look, my hat's off to people who do a project, specifically a gay project. I did a series of movies called the Donald Strachey Mysteries, Ice Blues with Chad Allen, Ice Blues, and On the Other Hand, Death, and they were terrific movies, and they were very well reviewed, and they got theatrical release, and the size of the audience, the people who saw those movies all rode together in the same cab to the theater. Nobody went to see the movies theatrically, and then online they probably have watched them since then, but there was not a lot of support to watch them, and this is back in the late 2000s. Things have changed a lot, but like I don't know, I don't want to be the spokesperson for our community, for our people, because you can't win at that game, because
I was going to say, you know what though, but I like just naturally infusing them into society. I think that's a picture that we really kind of could really participate in. It's just it's just normally that you're part of society rather than
I in the London Christmas movie, the best friend at work kind of character is a gay guy whose husband, he and the husband, they've been together forever, and they help out in a very important way. Like they're part of the story in a big way. Cool. But it's because when I was writing it, I was like, okay, I need the office best friend. Oh, I know, I'll just make him gay. And it came totally naturally, because where we are right now, and that's a Hallmark movie, which 10 years ago wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened.
Where we are now culturally, it just becomes part of the mix.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, I mean, I'd like to say I want to do a movie with the gay lead and but I already did. So I already know how that works. And Fair enough. The response to it wasn't great enough to.
I was going to say, considering what happened with Bros recently.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Now, and here's the thing, I made it halfway through Bros. I watched it on the plane on the way over here. I made it halfway through Bros. And it's terrific. It's cute. It's funny. It's all those things. I'm not a big Billy Eichner fan, and I think that was the fatal mistake in that movie, because Luke's great, but Billy is funny as a writer. He's terrific, but his on-screen presence.
You're either a fan of his on-screen or not,
or not. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know that helped or hurt. That's obviously just my opinion, but.
Well, I actually heard that I heard a write-up in queer publications that. Part of the mistake of the movie is they try, instead of concentrating on the queer audience, they try to put all their attention on getting the straight audience, and that didn't fare well for them, because they did not target the audience that the movie is about. That's
interesting. I just think the truth of it is that you're never going to make a gay movie that's going to bring in a huge straight audience. It's not going to happen. And arguably Brokeback Mountain was a big success, but that wasn't a gay movie. That was a movie about two guys.
It wasn't. And honestly, I had to endure sitting in a theater of people going, like that. Like even my straight friends who were with me almost started shouting at people.
Yeah. No, I think that movie's beautifully crafted, incredibly touching, and all of that. but also in the end, the gay guy dies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're beyond that now.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure where it goes. I'm not sure how it works.
Very good.
I mean,
Thank
put
you.
a lot of money.
Actually, I think that's a good start of a conversation. See where it may. Cool. After I wrote this. After this many years in film, what are your thoughts when you ponder it all?
When I ponder it all,
Yeah.
that's a really interesting question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. My husband says, you don't think about it too much. Just enjoy it.
I love that.
And it's true. Here's what I think. For example, on the flight over here, look, I grew up in a place called New Lowell, Ontario, which is a town. It's not a town, it's like a village. And it's like about 25, 30 minutes west of Barrie.
Okay.
Right? So north of you in Toronto. In the middle of nowhere with no contacts of any, like there's no way being in the movie business was not something that was on radar. Like it wasn't at all. So there are times when, like, flying over here, enjoying my first class champagne in the plane, I'm like, how the hell did I get here? And being so grateful for the people who, when I was starting out, who took chances on me, which was
you just screwed me on that. That's to feel that way, to feel after all the successes that you still be weldered by it and appreciative of it is a really fantastic feeling.
Oh, absolutely. There's not a day goes by that I don't think, my God. We were just before I came out to Greece. We were at home in the backyard having our backyard renovated, and I'm standing there and I was going, oh my God, is this ever going to be finished? And then I thought, you know what? I live in Palm Springs.
What are you complaining about?
Shut up. Stop complaining, Ron. My God, look at you. You get to make movies with great people for a living. You have the best husband in the world. You have two fabulous dogs. I mean, you have this great life. And it's something that I get really once in a while. It just takes me a moment to let it sink in, because it has been a journey. It has been a trip. But again, it's because people took chances on me and they gave me a shot. And so I try very hard when I'm like when I have assistants on set, on a film set, if I have people or I have a shadow on the film set, I try very hard to make sure that I pay that back.
That's
that the
beautiful.
Lucky breaks I've had and the people who've helped me, I try to pay that back to whoever to help them.
I can relate. I always tell, sorry, I was 19 and I had when I was 21, and it was when I graduated and people would shut doors, and I think I stood at Young and Bloor and thought to myself, if I'm ever in a position to give people opportunities, that will be one of the most satisfying things, to take chances on people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Makes it all worthwhile.
Beautiful. If you were king or queen, I'm not judging, of the world for a day, what would you change?
I was king of the world for one day. If I was king for just one day. Yeah, wow. I don't know, man. I mean, world peace.
What troubles you in the world that you would like to change?
Honestly, the truth of it, religion. I find religion to be something that's such an outdated idea and such a horrendous divider of people. Yeah. I think that's the thing. I find that problematic. And today they were announcing that we're expecting to have 8 billion people on the planet. I'm old enough to remember when we had 4 billion people on the planet. And we have 8 billion people.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, and that is everything that's happened, and everything that's difficult in our world is because of overpopulation. We have too many people, and that was
and a lot of religions encourage it. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. So a lot of these things. So that's what I would do if I was king for one day. I'd say I'd give everybody one day to not have religion in their lives and see how it goes.
Fair enough. Okay. I admire about you how you don't put up with crap on social media. I've seen you comment on other posts, homophobic or political, whatever, and you really tear them down when it's when they're being jerks.
Yeah. No, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own fact. It's as simple as that. And that's just how it has to be. So
let's take a break, everyone, and we will be back right away. Don't go anywhere. Cheers. And we are back with Sir Ron Oliver in his robe, coming.
It is true. I'm in my robe. Yes.
Coming to us. Now I can say I've interviewed every outfit or whatever on my show. He's coming to us from Greece, and I was going to start asking with the third segment to tell me about your upbringing a little bit, but you already kind of told us a bit about that. Anything else you want to add to that? What kind of child were you? Were you the dreamer with the camera? No.
I was
Yeah?
actually, yeah. I mean, I was the kid I had a Super 8 camera when I was a kid, and I used to stage plays. I was a magician.
No, I did not know that.
Oh yes, I used to perform when I lived in Toronto in the mid 80s or early mid 80s. I used to perform at a club called the Little Night Magic, and the Little Night Magic was down on Lombard Street next to Second City.
That's cute.
And yeah, so I did magic there. But so I was a magician, and I guess I still am, because they still just fooling the audience. Want to fool the audience, make you see this.
It's all magic.
It does all magic. It's true. So that I was just that kid, and I hosted a TV show in Peterborough. Some guy saw me do I shouldn't say some guy. This guy named Fred Berry, wonderful man, is passed now. But he saw me do a show, and he hired me to host a kid show in Peterborough, Ontario, and that got the next thing and the next thing, and I started writing, and that's kind of it sounds like a really breeze. Oh, it's a breeze. There it was suddenly. There's more to it than that, but it's a limited time show. You haven't got time for all the details, but it started out that way, and then here you are.
Fantastic. Good journey. And your current life at home, you've married, you've got dogs, right?
We do. We have 2 dogs, Bixby and Roswell, both rescues. And we have 2 tortoises, Nick and Nora, desert tortoises. And my husband and I have been married it'll be 10 years next year. We've been together 17 years.
Wow, nice.
18.
I like your pictures together on social media. He seems like a nice guy, like a sweet person.
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. I'll tell you something. Here's what happened. So my career was doing what a career does. You bump along and you do a gig and a show and a movie, and things happen and so on and so forth. And the day that he and I decided this was the one, this was the thing, literally my life changed. It got instantly better, because suddenly there's somebody in my life who's like in my corner and rooting for me and keeping an eye on me.
Make me cry.
And honestly, and looking after stuff and taking care of like the pets and the bank account and the tax thing and all the junk that your life is, which would distract you from the work. And suddenly he said, well, it's like a real partnership. It's fantastic. And his coming into my life made my life immeasurably better, hugely better. So
see, that's what gay romance looks like.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
I proposed on top of the Empire State Building, so that counts.
Oh my God, that's cute. Oh, stop. I love romantic stories. Like I love romantic movies. Okay, we usually finish the show with some quick questions, whatever comes to mind, just to get to know you a little bit better. So let's get that going. Your favorite color?
Blue.
Your favorite season of the year?
Summer.
Summer. Your favorite flower?
I don't think I have a favorite flower. Hibiscus. We have hibiscus in the backyard.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Your horoscope?
Gemini. And so my husband's Gemini. My husband's Gemini.
Both Geminis? Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's always 4 people in the room.
Knowing my both passed away, but my brother and my best friend were Geminis. I'm surprised that 2 Geminis can be in a relationship. But you're making it work. Yay. Do you believe in horoscope?
Not particularly, no.
Not really, no. What makes you laugh?
Well, my husband, for sure, because he'll say something that just makes me break up laughing, and him, and probably the Marx Brothers.
Nice, cool. What favorite time of the day? Morning person, evening person, nighttime?
You know what I love? I love dusk.
Dusk.
I love dusk because that's usually cocktail hour and the sun's just starting to go down.
Winding down.
And it's that lovely golden light. and the day has sort of ended, and you can discuss what's happened during the day. And
I love
during the pandemic, we were, during lockdown, we were lucky because, we have a house and we've got a yard and a pool and stuff. So it wasn't so horrible. And but we would putt around the house and not talk to each other during the day. And then every day at 5:30, we would get together at the bar in the living room, because we have Frank Sinatra's old bar in our living room.
You're kidding. Cool.
Yeah, I got it from the estate sale.
Oh,
And
nice.
we would meet there at 5:30, and we would have a drink every day at 5:30. So that dusk thing always works.
Nice. Which takes me to the next one. Naturally, your favorite evening drink after a long day. What would you pour?
Martini, gin martini.
Martini? Cool.
Yeah.
Good man. A song you listen to frequently these days, or do you?
Oh yeah, I listen to a lot of music, but I'm a big jazz fan. So I always go back to Nat King Cole, and I go
Sweet.
back to Sinatra, and I go
The
back to that
classics,
stuff.
the real.
I tend to, yeah. Although I'm also, my husband's a massive Taylor Swift fan, and I'm a big Taylor fan, but I'm only like the pop hits. I'm a shallow Taylor Swift fan. He likes the ones like the 10-minute song where she goes on and on about Jake Gyllenhaal, right? They dated for like 3 months, and she gets an entire album out of it. It's crazy. It's insane. But I love her. I love her stuff. So
I don't know. Funny you mentioned Jake. I don't know if my audience knows, but some audience knows. I named my dog Cowboy Gyllenhaal Elhashem.
Oh wow,
I
okay.
keep trying to tag Jake to my posts.
That'll go over.
Because Cowboy and Gyllenhaal, and because I love Brokeback Mountain, and my friend
Yeah.
got Cowboy. She asked me, "What do you love?" I said, "Cowboys," and then I went, "And Jake." So I kind of combined the two. Cool. What quirks do you have?
I have no quirks whatsoever. I'm an entire human
Full.
Jeez, that's a really good question. What quirks do I have? Well, I can tell you a little secret that I've never told anybody.
Oh
I'll
God.
tell you this.
Listen to this.
Okay, this is I've never told anybody. My quirk is when I'm traveling like I am now and I'm on the road, it's hard for me to get to sleep at night. So I'll play Enya to go to sleep.
Sweet.
So that's I guess that's a quirk,
That's a quirk. Absolutely. That's a quirk. And what pet peeve you may have?
Which what?
Pet peeve.
Pet peeve?
Yeah.
Oh, easy. People who talk too loud in restaurants. That drives me crazy.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
It's been the last decade. Everybody started talking loud. Like it's like everyone's performing in the restaurant. It's shut up. If I have to yell at the person across the table to have a conversation, you're talking too loud. Be quiet. So
fair enough. Actually, I totally agree with that. It's you need to be mindful of the enjoyment of everybody around you.
Yeah, it's horrible.
What job would you be terrible at?
Pretty much everything except
what you're doing now.
I have no life skills. I mean, I've done this. I've been in show business since I was, 16.
Yeah.
And I've been making movies since I was 26, 25, 26.
Oh.
So I don't really have any other skills. This is kind of it.
Nice.
So, yeah, I don't know what other job I'd be
That's a
doing.
blessing. A lot of people wish that they would have that kind of passion and one thing that they're into. What your most favorite film of all time?
Oh, see, I knew you were going to ask that question.
It's always
So I know. Well, the easy version of that question is Evil Dead 2.
Oh my God, you too?
Yeah. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2 is, in my mind, the most perfectly realized motion picture of the 20th century.
Brilliant.
It was
Huge.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I watched Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 with my little brother, and we didn't sleep for days when we were young.
I love that movie. I love it. I mean, I can go back to the classics and talk about All About Eve and Sunset Boulevard, films I love,
Oh
and
God,
Baby,
yes.
There's all those movies. But in terms of 88 minutes of solid fun, Evil Dead.
But I like that. I like that you picked that one. I do. Cause the classics. We all know the classics. So cool. What dish do you cook? What dish do you cook that nobody should miss?
So my husband is really the chef in the family, and he makes this thing called the John Wayne casserole that is just
I love
heaven. It's just fantastic. It's nothing but like eggs and cheese and jalapeno pepper, and it's like and it's this frothy,
Makes
fluffy.
it John Wayne's.
Oh, I have no idea. I think John
He just named
invented
it.
it. You know, I love it. I just that's so he makes that, and if I'm doing dinner, I make reservations.
You're good at reservations.
Yeah.
Are you usually early or late?
I'm always late. It's
Always
horrible. It's an epidemic. I am horrible at this. Always,
I'll be
late.
firing you on the spot.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And I'll try to set up. The problem is there's always so much to do, and then I really bad with budgeting time. On a film set, no problem. On a film set, I'm there on time. I do my thing.
I was going to say, you don't want to say that, and somebody who's planning to hire you would hear that you're always.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, the time is for work. It's great, but in terms of like outside
personal life. Okay.
Oh yeah, my God, it's horrible. And my husband says that all the time. He's like, okay, I know it's not a movie, but we need to be there. We have reservations. We have to do that. I know it's not a film set, but you have to be. The hardest part of being a director is not being a director. Like that's the hardest part of the job. So,
describe a romantic date.
Okay, I can do that very easily because we just had one before I left. So what usually happens is around 5 o'clock, we'll have a martini and get our suits on, get dressed, suit and tie, and go out to, there's a couple of places in Palm Springs we go to. We go to Melvin's at the Ingleside Inn, and we'll listen to jazz there and have dinner sometimes. And sometimes we'll put on tiki shirts and go to our favorite tiki bars and hang out there and have rum drinks and listen to music and see friends and that's good. But the best part of it is coming back home at night and you're talking about the idea of how the journey has been. Coming home at night from a set, I was shooting something in LA and I'd come home Friday nights. It's like a 2.5 hour drive to Palm Springs, beautiful desert night. You get home and there's nothing more romantic than your husband having to have his freshly made apple pear martinis sitting by the pool. So you can come home, jump in the pool, take a swim, and then have a martini with your husband under the moonlight. Like that's kind of
that's lovely.
That's so.
How do you unwind on a weekend after a busy week at work?
You know what? I just had one of those. All I did was just go to the gym, read,
sleep,
catch up on movies maybe if I can. That's like my unwind is really just going to the gym and just hanging out.
That's cool. Yay! I am done. I interviewed Ron Oliver. I mean, Sir Ron Oliver.
That's great.
Be respectful here.
Yes,
thank you for your time, Ron. Oh my
pleasure.
My doggy just woke up.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And everyone, keep watching, keep supporting. I love you. Take good care. Bye.